Ed, good morning, everybody. The Maestro's finally signed on.
Morning.
Nelson the Maverick, Nelson the Maverick Madrid.
Exactly. I keep calling you Nelson Maverick now.
is flying high, requesting to buzz the tower. Good morning, Nelson. Let's get this week kicked off correctly. Conrad, tell us something good. Let's share with everybody right now, just for a couple of minutes, what we're doing as a firm trying to reopen. I think that's something that's interesting.
I think you should officially introduce who Conrad is, seeing that he joined us a little bit late.
Oh, this guy? Well, let him introduce himself. Let's see if he can do that. He can give the number out now. Let's see if he can introduce himself.
You don't have it listed, and I haven't had my coffee yet, so I'm sorry, guys. I'm running a little behind today, and had some technical difficulties this morning. The wife and the kids.
That's technical. Okay.
But hey, it's Monday morning and ready to start the week off, and hopefully some good stuff happening in the world and around New York, and things are reopening slowly but surely. And our plan as a firm right now, our goal is to be back in New York City, back in our office in Peekskill, opening office in Brooklyn, June 1st. That's the target right now. I mean, of course, that's dependent on what our governor decides. May 28th seems to be the day that has been targeted for back to work in our area. So we're aiming for June 1st. And we're working on putting things together to make it safe for our staff, make it safe for our clients to come and visit us, and of course, make it safe for all of us to be working there. That's really what I was working on all weekend, other than fielding phone calls. Some news. I'd rather not start off on a sour note, so I'll come back to that in a bit about the news about the Immigration Service running out of money. Maybe I'll mention it now. I read an article yesterday that was sent to me by a colleague that apparently the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service is running out of money, and that if something is not done by sometime during the summer, July or August, they're going to run out of money, not be able to do their work. So what that means for everybody listening out there, fees are going up. I've mentioned that immigration was going to raise their fees. They notified the public back in November, I think, and there have been 40,000 or so comments in the Federal Register about the fees, the fee increase. Of course, some of the fee increases are substantial. Now, because of the citizenship, the CIS shortfall, they're talking about adding on a 10% surcharge on top of that. As an example, what we're looking at, citizenship currently costs $725. It's going to go up to $1,170, plus potentially a 10% surcharge on top of that. So they may be doubling the cost of citizenship soon. What that means for everybody out there, if you're thinking of applying for citizenship or thinking of applying for a relative, now's the time. Soon it's going to get a lot more expensive. And what's interesting, the CIS is funded by your filing fees. The public that pays for the filing fees for their different applications. That's how the CIS is funded. The government doesn't give them any money per se, although that may change now because they're looking for a handout from the federal government to make them keep running. What's interesting is the reason they're running out of money. Number one, people aren't filing right now. Just businesses down everywhere. People are just holding back because of the pandemic. A lot of people out of work and so on and so forth. So people are not filing applications. Supposedly, it's the number of applications are down 60% since March 15th. In addition to that, of course, the fact that the administration has clamped down and made every single application, no matter what it is, whether it's citizenship or applying for your wife or your mother, or applying to get a new green card, or you name it. Any application that you can think of right now is much, much more difficult than it was 2, 3, 4 years ago. Much more. As a result, that requires more manpower. Every application takes longer to process. They issue a lot more RFEs now, meaning requests for evidence. H1, H2 applications. These are for temporary workers. These are people that may be working already in the country for 3 years. Their applications were approved previously, and now it's time to file for an extension. The applications for extension are looked upon as if they're brand new applications. Previously, if it was an extension, which makes sense, if you got your visa approved 3 years ago. You're working for the same company. You're submitting a new petition just for an extension. It was pretty much approved as a matter of course. No more. Now they go through the application as if you never applied before. Nothing is taken for granted. What does all of this mean? The fact that people aren't applying as often as they used to, the fact that their applications that are being filed are taking twice, 3 times, 4 times as long as they used to, the fact that I lost my train of thought. I was going good there for a while too. The fact is the Immigration Service is not receiving money for all of these reasons, and as a result, they're running out of money. Fees are going up, folks. File your applications, bottom line.
And not only file your applications, you give us a call. I mean, I've been listening to Conrad and Nelson been talking about immigration on Cruising with the Case Center now for about, I think we're about 5 or 6 weeks into this. As a casual observer, again, I don't claim to know anything really about immigration other than I know it's life-changing for generations to come in your family. And most of my clients are immigrants or family of immigrants. But as far as the process goes, I really don't get involved. I defer to them. But from what I'm hearing, the writing is on the wall that now is the time that you need to be prepared and be proactive about this situation. And of course, that starts with the phone call, 844-774-3529 or excuse me, 844-PPID law. We're giving these free consultations out, and Conrad and Nelson and Andrea and the other attorneys as well are fielding these phone calls and letting you know how, if, and when we can help you. And they're doing it absolutely free of charge. So there is absolutely no reason whatsoever that you shouldn't be picking up the phone, dialing this number and giving us a call. If the fees are going up, I mean, it just makes perfect sense. You know, lock it in now while the fees are lower. And while it also can maybe possibly take an attorney less time to do it, you know, as these things, and Conrad, I'm sure you can answer this, as these situations become more and more complex and the applications go from 5 pages to 8 pages, I would think that would cost more eventually down the road in lawyer time, because a lawyer's time is measured, a lawyer's fee is measured in the amount of time and effort they have to put into an application. So if things are used to take 10 hours and now they're taking 20 hours, lawyers across the board are going to have to charge more to get the results that you're expecting. Am I correct about that?
Application sizes going from 5 to 8 pages is substantially understating the issue. More like 5 pages to 15 pages or 8 pages to 25 pages. That's what we're talking about here. Again, folks, the Immigration Service is not your friend. And they never have been. They certainly are these days. Everything about immigration these days is about making it harder. The Immigration Service used to be what's called a benefit agency. They were out there. The purpose of the USCIS is to provide benefits to intending immigrants. That's not the case anymore. And it's been stated as much by the administration. It is now a vetting agency. They are looking at applications and they are trying to discourage and deny people from becoming permanent residents. That is their stated mission. So for anybody out there, for all the reasons I'm talking about today and previously for the last month or plus, for you to be doing these applications on your own is just such a dangerous proposition. I mean, it's never been a great idea, but now especially. Now, again, if you get denied, you file for citizenship and something comes out that you didn't mention when you got your green card 20 years ago that you've been arrested for, I don't know, well, some minor charge. Now it's going to come up. As a result, if it's not that minor, if the government feels that it was a substantial omission on your part, or perhaps you deliberately didn't tell them that information, you not only will be denied, but you could find yourself in removal proceedings. And on your way back to your country that you haven't been to in 30 years. You know, it's just, to me, it's mind-boggling that anybody would even consider, Squeeze, to do this kind of stuff on their own, especially today.
It's crazy. And that's one of the reasons why I say, and I said it over the weekend, that if you are out there, it is extremely important that you speak with the attorneys at PPID about your immigration situation. And we have made it possible for you to do so absolutely free. You're getting a free phone consultation, after which I would highly suggest that you actually hire them. You don't want to do any immigration work right now on your own. You just don't. Believe me, you don't want to take that risk. So reach out to the attorneys at PPID. Here's the number to call them. The firm has been around for 50 years plus. Speak with the Conrad Pollacks. Speak with the Nelson Madrids. Ladies and gentlemen, the number, dial it now. It's a Monday. If you call before the top of the hour, you are guaranteed a free phone consultation off the air. Here's the number, 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. 844-774-3529. If you want to ask an immigration question now, dial the same number, 844-774-3529. If you want to place your immigration question on Facebook, you don't want to use your voice, then basically go to Facebook, my page, David Squeeze Annakie, Adam's page, the case handler, and that's the case handler. All right.
Just taking some important notes here. I like what you're saying right now.
And also, of course, PPID's page, Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. Place your questions in the comment section of the quadrant that you're watching. You'll see the four pictures, the four boxes there. Place your questions in the comment section. Once again, immigration is a minefield, and you don't want to step on any of those mines. So reach out to one of the attorneys. They will take your consultation, and they will answer your questions off the air, a phone consultation. The number, once again, dial it now, 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. Don't wait around. We have a very bad habit in waiting around for the last minute to do things. I mean, I believe Conrad spoke on naturalization. Okay, getting your citizenship. Now is the time. The fees are going up. You don't want to wait around. Don't do it. Don't wait. Okay, right now is the time. Go ahead and get your citizenship. You can vote. This year is a voting year. It's an election year. All right, and you still have time. You can squeeze in there to actually vote for the right president. Let me say that one more time, for the right president. All right. With that said, I'm gonna Nelson, you're good. Love that shirt there, man.
Everybody's looking mighty fine today for a Monday. I got to tell you, I feel like the scrub here. You know, I'm wearing a pullover and some gray shorts, but everybody else looks like they're. I mean, Nelson looks like not just.
Oh, you didn't get the memo?
Nelson looks like James Bond right now.
Listen, actually, let me just add something right quick. And this, I think, came out late last week, Friday. All hearings in non-detained cases in New York have been postponed through and including Friday, June 12th. So if you are in removal proceedings on the non-detained docket and you have a hearing through June 12th, your case has been postponed and will be rescheduled.
What's going on with the people who are actually in detention right now, gentlemen? What's going on with them?
So that's a good question. I've attended a couple of webinars, and apparently, they're less if you're not already released, they're less likely to release you now because they feel that basically COVID is under control. So it's a lot harder to be released from immigration custody at the present than it was maybe a month and a half ago.
That's wow.
Yeah, that's ice.
Yeah. Not a place you want to be right now.
Yeah.
If ever.
Oh man. Anyway, once again, folks, this is called Cruisin with a Case Handler each and every single weekday at 8:30 a.m. And of course, on Saturdays, we come your way at 7 p.m. and Sundays at 12 noon. This past weekend was great. I was able to accost Mr. Case Handler himself, Adam Handler, and speak with him in Lent. Great show we had.
Yep, it was excellent, and the response has been overwhelming. I mean,
Really?
Conrad, you saw the phone calls flooding in over the
did.
weekend.
I mean, we had people on the phones all day, it seemed, and today we have many phone calls, many consults scheduled as a result of the weekend response, which is great. So thanks a lot.
But not only that, gentlemen, before I hand the reins to Adam to give us a true success story on the personal injury side, but I want to remind a lot of people out there who are listening to us on 93.5 right now at 13 minutes before the hour of 9, before we conclude on the station and continue on Facebook. Yes, it is great getting a free consultation from these wonderful, great, experienced, attorneys. All right. I mean, they know their stuff. Okay. But what's more important for every one of you listening to me this morning is not just to get that free consultation, which will last for about 10 minutes or so, but hire them. I can't say it enough. A lot of people who do not listen to what we're saying and adhere to it, and I'm not being autocratic or anything. I'm really, truly, genuinely trying to save a lot of people the hassle, the trouble, and paying twice or three times as much as you should, or probably get put in removal proceedings. What's important here is to hire the attorneys after the consultation. All right. Speak to them about your budget. I mean, work out a payment plan, work out something with them, but please, for God's sake, not in this time with what's going on with your friend DT over there, don't file your immigration case yourself. All right. Get the attorneys to actually do it for you. And now is the time to do it. Everything is getting more expensive. Do it now. File it now. Get it in now. So once again, dial the number 844-774-3529. Now, dial it. Okay. Get that free consultation off the air, the phone consultation, 844-774-3529. Now think, I am 100% sure, I'm being a prophet here, that come when the offices open up for Pollack, Isaac, and Desico, PPID, I wonder if you are going to be able to get a consultation. So you better book it now. It's going to get crazy. I'm telling you, everyone's going to be rushing into the office. Okay. So I would suggest you book your appointment with them. You retain them now. You get on their list. I mean, Conrad, Pollack just announced that they're opening up the office come June. Okay, the beginning of June. You better get yourself an appointment because you're going to want to see these attorneys.
And just remember, just because we're physically opening the office doesn't mean anytime soon, unfortunately, things are going to be back to the way they used to be. At any given day, that waiting room used to be packed, right? Just filled with people that were excited to be meeting with honest attorneys that have provided successful results for years in the past. Of course, we can't guarantee anything, but people were pumped. They were there seeing their attorney, seeing whether it was seeing an immigration attorney or there was people in the waiting room waiting to pick up those big fat checks. I mean, I can remember days, and this is only a couple months ago, that, I would have 3-4 different clients all waiting in the waiting room. And I would kind of like peek around the corner to listen, and they're all talking about the money they're about to pick up. That's exciting. That's good stuff. Those were fun days. But those days are probably not going to be back anytime soon. It's going to be, 1 or 2 people in the waiting room. So if you think you're going to have the ability to just, as they say, storm the castle and come on in whenever you feel like it and speak with good attorneys trying to work on your cases, whether it's personal injury, immigration, that's just not happening. So you want to get everything booked now. You want to have everything to the extent possible filed now, because there's going to be a mad rush, and that's everywhere. So the best thing you can do is give us a call right now, and we'll lay out the path for you, the path to, to citizenship, literally. And we're here to help those families that really want to change things for the better for their family. And of course, that's what we do in personal injury. And if I could just take a few minutes, there's one case that actually came to mind. An immigrant from Jamaica drove Uber and was in a very, very serious car accident. And this is something that, we worked very hard on. I'm not going to show the picture because I think he wanted to keep that confidential. But let me, share this story with you. This was a case in which he, immigrated to the United States of America and drove Uber to support his family, not only here, but his family back down home. And he was in a terrible car accident with a FedEx truck. The FedEx driver was not paying attention and smashed into his vehicle. And we have a diagram of the accident. But this is a case that, FedEx was willing to give him maybe $20,000 or $30,000 to go away. And I love the quote, the best attorney in New York City. Of course, I'm not allowed to say that, but, plenty of other people are allowed to and do say it. I never had any issues. If I had to leave a message, they would always call me back very promptly. Adam is a good guy. My experience was really, really great. And we turned that $20,000 or $30,000 into $485,000 tax-free. Do you know how many Uber trips this man would have to make to be able to walk away with nearly $500,000 tax-free. He would have to drive literally
For about
to
8 to
the
10 years.
moon and back for the rest of his life to be able to pull that off. I'm exaggerating, but for all you science nerds out there, you tell me how many miles it would require him to drive to make $500,000 in one shot. And we were able to recreate the accident and be able to show that he was 100% in the right, and that the Uber driver was the FedEx driver was 100% in the wrong. And as you see here, he was going to make a left-hand turn. He was waiting in the middle of the road for the vehicle on the bottom of the diagram to pass. And as he's waiting there, the FedEx driver smashes into his back and forces him into the other vehicle, into oncoming traffic. He required a surgery to his shoulder. He had injuries to his neck, which required some injections, but he made an excellent recovery. And what was so special about this case was not only we were able to help him with the personal injury case, but because he was on the job at the time, it was also a workers' compensation case, right? So when you're hurt on the job, whether you're driving Uber, whether you're stacking boxes at Target, whether you're at a construction site, you have a workers' compensation case that will pay your medical bills and your time out of work. And then the personal injury case, which you go after the person that caused you wrong. A lot of people think, oh, if I get hit or hurt on the job, it's only workers' compensation. It's only workers' compensation when the only person you can bring a case against is your boss. You can't sue your boss in New Jersey. You can't sue your boss in New York. But when somebody else other than your employer is responsible for the accident, you can absolutely bring a claim. And that's exactly what we did. Nearly $500,000 for this gentleman, you know, a wonderful result for an even better guy. But these are the kind of special situations that we handle. And it all starts, of course, with one phone call, 844-774-3529 or 844-PPID-LAW. For immigration, we're saying, call right now, set up that free consultation. You know, no matter how stupid the question how dumb the question you think is, call us. We'll answer it. And with respect to personal injury, it happens, but I don't expect anybody's getting to an accident exactly this second. You know, while listening to the show, it's happened before, but the purpose of us giving out the number for personal injury is to prepare for the worst, prepare for the disaster. And I'll tell you something, over the past couple months, I think we all learned a serious life lesson about thinking ahead and planning for the unexpected. And if that's something that's important to you and your family, just having the peace of mind, you'll keep that number saved. Hopefully you never need it, but God forbid you do. 844-774-3529 or 844-PPID-LAW. Thank you so much for giving me that platform this morning, Squeeze, to get the message across.
Absolutely. Once again, folks, if you're just joining us, this is called Cruising with the Case Handler. The case handler being Adam Handler, the man that you just heard, is, of course, the top personal injury attorney in this hemisphere. And, of course, dubbed by yours truly. And
oh, my goodness. That's a new
true.
one.
It's the true, you know.
I'm not saying it's not true. I just, you know, oh, thank you.
Okay. And, of course, you know, people who have received, you know, a bunch of people have received well over 110 million, ladies and gentlemen, dollars. Okay. So we want to say thanks to him for what it is that he has been doing for this community and beyond by way of the firm PPID, Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. He's a partner there and running the personal injury department. Great work. I've known him for 15 years plus, and he's truly treating everyone like family. With that said, at 4 minutes before we get to the top of the hour, where you switch to Facebook at David Squeeze Annakie's Facebook page, Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico's page, and the case handler, I would like to remind you to call 844-774-3529. Nelson or Conrad, could you quickly, you know, sum up the public charge before we get to the top of the hour? Could you do that in 2 minutes?
Go ahead, Nelson.
So basically, effective February 24th, 2020, there is a new application that must be completed and filed anytime you are filing on behalf of typically your spouse or a family member here in the United States. seeking adjustment of status, and that's called the Declaration of Self-Sufficiency. It's a form I-944. And basically what they want to ensure is that if your family member were to be given an immigration benefit, you would not become a public charge. It's not just an application that you're completing, it's also a lot of supporting documentation, such as credit report, tax transcripts, if you've ever filed for bankruptcy in the past, if you've ever taken any type of benefits, government benefits, all of this has to be included with that application, again, to ensure that your family member would not become a public charge.
Absolutely. There you go. You summed it up. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Cruising with a Case Handler, personal injury and immigration. Immigration is a minefield, so you need experienced attorneys to handle your case. So make sure you dial this number right now, 844-774-3529. I am David Squeeze Annakie, and I guarantee you a phone consultation with one of the attorneys at this phenomenal law firm that, of course, get you through the minefield of immigration. Once again, make the call. The number is 844-774-3529. It's a new week. It's a new dawn. It's a new life. Ladies and gentlemen, make the best of it by calling your immigration attorneys here in New York City. Make the call, 844-774-3529, 844-PPID-LAW. Now, I'd like everyone that's watching us, that's listening to us rather, on 93.5 FM, get on Facebook right now. Go to my page, David Squeeze Annakie, okay? And please share the page. Also go to the Case Handler or Pollack's page, Pollack and Isaac and the Seacoast page. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we continue the show for a few. You'll be able to place your questions in the comment section, ask your questions, and join the conversation. Once again, call this number, book your appointment for free off the air. It's a phone consultation, 844-774-3529. And if you're out there and you get into an accident, you need the same number for the case handler, Adam Handler. So store the number, dial it now, let it ring 15, 20 seconds. You never know if you're going to need it. And that number, once again, for the up-team time is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. 844-PPID-LAW. Let's switch to Facebook. Here we go.
Nice timing, man. Listen, you sound so scientific today, talking about hemispheres and upteenth times. I mean, you're like your new nickname should be the Professor. How's that?
I can pull out a vocabulary when I'm ready, man. I can pull out the vocab. I can even go down a yard. Chat some patois.
There you go. Listen, be proud of it.
Man. I have a funny feeling. Adam, that Nelson know more patois than you.
I have probably a funny feeling.
I don't have a funny feeling that he knows more patois than you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Cruising with a Case Handler. We're going to be getting into some questions. Let me see if Tracy has sent me any questions yet. But once again, we are here to answer your immigration questions. There's so much that's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and we want for everybody out there to understand that we've got great attorneys here. All right. Okay, let's jump into it. All right. You gentlemen ready for some questions?
Let's go.
Okay. Adam, you ever get questions on personal injury ever on a show?
No, not really. But we used to have people back in the day. We used to do the call-in format, which was kind of fun, and people would call about basically the cases that they have ongoing with their attorneys. And yes, is it normal that I haven't heard from my attorney in 6 months? No. Is it normal that I had 2 surgeries and my lawyer's trying to convince me to take $40,000? No. Those are pretty much the only questions we used to get, were people seriously doubting whether the attorney they had hired for their personal injury case was doing their job. Usually the answer was no, and then those clients 10 minutes later would be calling my office asking me if I could take over the case. So happy to do it, but I find the immigration questions much more interesting than people calling complaining about why they've never met their lawyer before and only speak to a secretary when they call. Hey,
Anyway, one of the things I want you guys to discuss, and we don't talk enough about it, Conrad and Nelson and Adam, is the fact that you guys have 3 offices, right? And
That's
where
true.
they're located, I think that's extremely important. We need to talk more about them, especially your Brooklyn office. We need to let people know that you have that very convenient location. And I don't know where most of your clients come from, but I think the Brooklyn location is a great location for us.
Well, we have clients from everywhere, and not just in the metropolitan area. We have clients all over the country, all over the world. And I've said before how it's not unusual that Nelson will go to Texas, or that I'll field a call from Alaska, or one of our other associates will be talking to someone down in the Caribbean. Or we have clients everywhere. Immigration is federal, so we can, even though we're admitted in New York, we can do a case in Oklahoma if we choose to, or Montana, or whatever. So we have clients everywhere. As far as our offices go, our main offices has been for the past 40 years at 225 Broadway, 3rd floor. But we opened an office up in Westchester County in Peekskill a while back. So we have quite a few clients from that area and Putnam County, as our reach has been extending over the past few years. In addition, we recently opened an office in Brooklyn on the corner of McDonald Avenue and Avenue I, which is very conveniently located for anyone who lives in Brooklyn. I mean, we're surrounded by bus stops, and the train stops right on our corner. And we have a nice office there. Unfortunately, it only recently opened this year, so we haven't had a chance to use it much because of the current situation. But we're hoping to make a lot more use of it. In fact, Squeeze, we've talked about, I'd like to do our radio show from there occasionally.
Well,
it's a storefront, and people walking by could see us on, doing our show right through the window. I think that'll be fun.
That would be great. All right. Yeah. Once again, folks, we're here doing Cruisin with a Case Handler. Let's go to the questions now. And once again, place your immigration questions in the comments section on Facebook, and we will get to them. Okay. This one is pretty long. All right. It says, my sister is my substitute sponsor and appears in the CEAC and in the emails from NVC as the petitioner. But it was my father who originally filed a petition on my behalf in 1993. But because he passed away in 2002, we filed for a reinstatement of the visa petition, which was approved on December 2016. Now my interview appointment has been scheduled. I don't know what's being asked here, gentlemen.
Well, it sounds like sounds like she's an adult. And it
sounds sorry. It goes on. The question is, when she married an American man back in 1995, her last name changed, and of course her last name is different now. I have her birth certificate, but it shows her maiden surnames. How can I prove to the consul that she's my sister? I have some photos of me and her. Will that be enough? Will they ask for a DNA? I don't even know what this is all about, but I'm quite sure you all do.
That's kind of a convoluted situation, but not unheard of. I don't really get the substitution thing. If her father applied for her and then he died and she was not in the United States at the time, that case died with her father. If she's in the United States, then when her father died, she had to have somebody else sponsor her, which I assume was her sister. And that's what she's talking about. It's not, I wouldn't really call it a substitution. That's misleading. But I don't know what else I can say other than the fact she's waiting for her interview. The consulates are closed. When they reopen, I assume she'll be scheduled. How does she prove that the sisters are related? Typically with birth certificates showing common parents. Hopefully they have the same mother and father. If not, if they have the same mother, that's typically sufficient. If they only have the same father and the parents were not married, that could be an issue. And yes, a DNA blood test definitely could be a possibility. And if they do take the blood test, as long as it demonstrates the relationship exists, that should be sufficient. However, again, in a circumstance where they had different parents, they had different mothers, for instance, and the same father, there will be a requirement that they demonstrate that there was a relationship between the father and the siblings. Again, there's a myriad different fact patterns and ways to answer that question, we would need a lot more information in order to answer it specifically.
And that's why he's the maestro, because I could not figure that question out for the life of me.
Well, I've seen it before.
Believe
it or not, that is not an unusual situation. Okay.
You know,
really?
I'm sure Conrad would agree. You know, there are so many questions. You know, we've been doing this so long. I've been practicing for 17 years. Conrad's been practicing for 35. Nelson, you're what, 13 years in?
Yeah, 13.
And I'm sure you agree too. You know, there's a saying, it takes a certain amount of hours to like master something. I think it's like 10,000 hours or whatever. And there's a lot of times where, you know, you can hear literally like the first part of the question and know exactly what the question is and what the answer is. You know, I can generally tell within, I let the clients speak a little longer just for courtesy to them, but I know within probably 15, 20 seconds, or maybe asking 2 questions, whether or not, you know, there's a personal injury case. You know, sometimes I'm not so sure, we have to delve further into it, but same thing with immigration. I mean, Conrad has heard so many questions over the years, literally thousands and thousands and thousands of questions, that you're able to kind of give a diagnosis, you know, very, very quickly, just as a doctor. You know, you can have a friend, you know, oh, my throat's scratchy, I've got a mild fever, and you know, my legs are achy, and they know exactly what's wrong with you without even asking another question, because these are things that we do all day, every day. So,
Sure.
you know, that's, and just, and the point of what I'm saying is, go with an attorney. You know, there's nothing more stressful, for me at least, there's nothing that gives me more anxiety than trying to figure out something that I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, right? Whether it's fixing the burners on my grill, to trying to set up, you know, the Wi-Fi in my house. If you don't know what you're doing, it's just, excuse me, but we're not regular by the FCC right now. It's a pain in the ass. I mean, that's really what it is. Now, imagine that your life is at stake. I'm not saying you're going to live or die if you make the wrong decision, but you certainly could be thrown out of this country for the rest of your life and no longer able to provide for you and your family, right? Why would you ever take that risk? Same thing with personal injury. There are no redos. There's one and only chance to get